Hello again, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue to follow the athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. Great show lined up for you today, and we're going to kick it off with soccer as we visit with Derek Phillips, the head coach at Webster High School. And then Mike Deckard comes aboard, the Edison High School baseball coach, as we talk a little baseball. Matthias Wicks then comes aboard. He's from the campus police, but also does a great job with tracksters throughout the summer. Then Clifford Criddle comes in, retiring athletic director at Webster High School, and 39 years he's been in the Tulsa Public Schools. Jen Sanders then comes aboard, the athletic director at Rogers High School. And we'll close the show with Gil Cloud, athletic director for the Tulsa Public Schools. All of that coming up right here inside Tulsa Athletics. Don't go away. We're coming right back.
So I work in production, and I help cover a lot of college football games. There's a ton of running and lots of travel all over the place. You might think I'd go with a mega bank for the convenience, but actually I just switched to TTCU. I could have signed up online, but I decided just to walk in, and I'm so glad I did. Just for opening a checking account, they gave me $50 and $50 to a local school. And now when I travel, it's like a little piece of home is always with me. It really is unbeatable.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head boys and girls soccer coach at Webster High School, Coach Derek Phillips. And Derek, coach both boys and girls, keeps you busy.
Keeps me very busy.
Well, let's kind of go back and let's start with the girls. Kind of give us a review of the girls soccer team at Webster this year.
Right now we're sitting, we're 0-5 right now in the season. Picking up a lot of young players, very young team. Have 2 seniors on the team overall. Just picking up and going for us, trying to get everything together and the pieces. A lot of freshmen trying to throw in there, and a lot of kids that haven't played soccer much before. But we got a game tonight that should be very competitive. Looking for a win tonight to come out in district, first district win, so should be nice. And then we haven't won a game on the girls' side in a couple years, so looking for our first win tonight.
But you sound enthusiastic that they are improving, and if that be the case, you know winning will come.
Oh, winning's going to come, and I'm pretty positive tonight's going to be that first win, and the girls are going to be very happy at the end of it. We're all going to be happy, so looking forward to it.
All right, now bring us up to date on your boys' soccer team.
Our boys are sitting at 2-3 currently. Started out the season, first win in 3 years or so on the boys' side. Got a pretty nice win there. Lost in overtime, second game on PKs. Pretty tough loss. Came back with a win, and then past 2 games in district have been pretty rough, but we played #1 seed in the district right now, top of it, tonight, and we're looking to go out and dominate and get another win under our belt.
Now, what are some of the schedule that you're going to go through between now and the playoffs?
Right now, like I said, we got Riverfield tonight coming in district games. We're in district play the rest of the season, and we have Verdigris is going to be a tough match on Thursday. And then going in, we have games every Tuesday, Thursday for the remainder of the season. We've got Grove coming up, which is going to be pretty tough. And then just trying to finish out strong against Commerce and Oologah to close the season out. Should be nice with Oologah being our senior night and then Commerce being our last game of the season. How's
the support been for soccer on the west side, both boys and girls? Has it been very good for you?
It's growing. Started out a little slow, but then community's starting to get involved a lot. A lot of the kids are starting to see and they're getting involved. Clinton's currently opened up their wrestling program, or not wrestling, soccer program to kind of broaden the aspects. Actually, they have a game tomorrow night against Edison, which is kind of cool. So we're gonna go out and watch. We're gonna bring them over on like little camps and things to help, and the community's getting really involved with their parents, just finding the support to come out and how it goes from there.
You see in a lot of the communities that soccer starts with the kids that look like they're first and second graders. Do you have them playing soccer on any kind of a limited basis at that age on the west side?
Right now, a lot of the younger kids in the community are starting out in those little smaller leagues. They've got little pickup. I mean, 2, 3-year-old kids going out, and it's usually the first sport every kid plays. And a lot of them lose interest by the time later in elementary. So we're trying to build that back up and keep them involved, and get the feeder program set with going in from elementary into Clinton and still having that, and then push on over here to Webster. And hopefully, I mean, we're already on the verge. We've got a lot of talent on it, especially on our boys team, and then the girls team is coming up. So if we can move on some of them and get the basic skills down before they get to high school, it'll be a big boost for our program.
I think most people, when they hear that you are the head coach in boys, you're the head coach in girls, when you practice, how do you go about doing this? Do you put them against one another, or how do you do this? No,
I try to keep the team separated. I've got some great help. Got a new first-year Webster alumni, Tyler Campbell, that's been helping out a lot. I'm an assistant coach. Joe Samra, which was the head soccer coach over at Rogers for many years, he's over here helping out the boys. And just keeping them separate is the key. Don't intertwine the programs. Keep them separate. Keep them competitive. Keep them competing on the skill level. And the girls program's really young, like I said, so getting them to get the basics of passing and staying in a formation is pretty hard. But that's every sport whenever you got a lot of first-year players. And the boys, there's so much talent that we have over here that's coming up, especially freshmen in them, that they're growing quite a bit.
How many of your players, both boys and girls, are participating in other sports, or do you have very many concentrating on soccer, or do they play other sports?
I've got quite a few in multiple sports. Girls team wise, I've got 5 that came over from basketball at the end, and all of them will be in cross country. We've got to run next year, so we're gonna put all of them in cross country unless they're participating in something else, say volleyball. We've got a couple volleyball players and softball kids coming out, so it's really good. And then boys wise, I've got a few football players. I also help, I'm the assistant coach for football, so they kind of come over and it helps out a lot. And then got a few basketball players, so it's helping out a lot.
Well, when you take a look at what's going on, do you feel like that the growth is going to come as you expect it to come?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, we're very young. The majority of our team is freshmen and sophomores on both boys and girls. I've got quite a few freshmen on the girls team and a lot of freshmen on the boys team. So going up, I have 3 seniors on the boys team and 3 on the girls, actually. 3 seniors on the girls team, so I lose a total of 6 combined. And I've got so much talent. There's a lot of 8th graders coming in that have interest, and there's some pretty talented ones over there that's coming up, you know, just development wise. If they could grow a little bit, we get some size on some kids, it'd help a lot. So
well, Derek, I want to wish you the very best of luck, and we'll be following you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Mike Deckard comes up next, the head baseball coach at Edison High School.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we talk some baseball. And welcome aboard Mike Deckard, who is the head baseball coach at Edison High School. And Mike, always a pleasure having you aboard on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Thanks, it's good to be here.
When you take a look at what is happening, it seems like in baseball and high school, the season goes by very quickly. And here we're in April, what, 3 or 4 weeks away from playoffs?
Yes, sir, we're 4 weeks out.
Well, when you take a look at what is happening at Edison High School, kind of bring our viewing audience up to date on who you've played, what you've done, and if they are meeting your expectations.
Coming into the season, our expectations were pretty simple. We expected to make the state tournament this year. We've got a very good group. We've got 9 seniors. 4 of them see significant playing time. We have 3 or 4 juniors that play every day, and we have 3 or 4 sophomores that play every day. And we knew coming in our minds, that our offense was going to be really good this year. So far, our offense has struggled, and with that, I think we're 6-12 right now. We've lost 4 or 5 games by 1 or 2 runs that once the offense gets rolling, we'll start winning those games and we'll get back on the plus side of 500. We're in a stretch right now where the next 3.5 weeks will determine our standings in the district playoffs and determine if we're able to host as a 1 or 2 seed or if we get sent somewhere else as a 3 or 4. So it's exciting. We haven't quite played as well as we thought we were going to, but in the last week we've started to turn that corner and get a lot better.
You know, and going back in baseball, I think that's something that we see so frequently, that when you get started, the weather isn't always good.
Right.
Whatever they've done, some of them in the winter, some of them haven't done preparation in the winter because they played another sport. And then suddenly when you get down about the first 7 or 8 days in April, things begin to turn, don't they?
Yes, the weather wakes up and helps us out a little bit. We can get outside more. And it's hard as a pitcher. Everything is about feel. You feel the pitch when you release it, and when it's 35 and 40 degrees outside, it's really hard for a young kid to understand how to feel the baseball through that. So it's a learning tool for them, and it's something that we have to work through as coaches. And then as the weather warms up, and everybody's in that boat, it's not just us. So it's definitely, you can see as the weather breaks, baseball gets better.
Well, defense is such a significant part of a good baseball team, and it seems like as the season progresses, defensively it improves dramatically. Are you experiencing that with the Eagles?
Right now our defense is struggling a little bit. We should clean that up as we get a little bit farther into the season. We're still moving some people around, trying to find the right 9 guys that get us on the field to be successful. We have a very good senior catcher. It's going to hurt when he leaves. He does a really good job behind the plate for us. We have a shortstop that we've moved. He's really a first baseman, but in order for everything to work for us, he plays shortstop for us. And we have a center fielder that I would put with any center fielder in the state. So once we get a few things cleaned up, our defense will be where it needs to be to get us.
Well, now these players that you're mentioning, are they college prospects? Either junior college, senior college, whatever?
Definitely. All 3 of them are. And we've got our right fielder has a chance to possibly get drafted if he continues to develop. We have some other kids that are definitely college ready, but playing college baseball isn't really what they're wanting to do, so they're going to go on and be successful doing other things. But we have several kids in the program that are college baseball worthy. It's just whether or not they decide they want to put that commitment in, because the commitment at college is huge. It's a big time commitment, and a lot of kids just aren't wanting to give up that much time when they get to college.
I can understand that. You have an assistant, Paul Postier. He has played a little professional baseball.
Yes, he has.
He is certainly someone that I'm sure you're glad to have on the staff.
Without a doubt. He runs our defense. He works with all of our infielders, helping them with their footwork and throwing mechanics, and then he coaches third base for us, and he calls the shots at third. I mean, I give him free rein to run the offense. He's been doing this for a long time, and we have complete confidence that he's going to put us in the right position.
Well, as you look at the end of the season, some of the teams that you're going to play and how the playoff will come about so that our viewers will know and be maybe to follow the Edison Eagles.
Yeah, right now this week, yesterday we lost a tough game to Pryor. We play them again Thursday, and then next week we have Bishop Kelly at home and away, and the following week we play Coweta home and away. And those 6 baseball games will dictate where we end up. If we can finish this out and win more than we lose, we'll have a very good seed going into districts. If not, we're going to have a tough road coming out of districts to get into
well, and as you look at this on the teams that you're playing, do you feel like that you are really about even with them?
Everybody's splitting.
That's good.
Everybody's splitting home and away. It seems like everybody has one really good arm, and they're not matching them up against each other. They're trying to split them apart and win their game with their arm. And I mean, we match up well with all three of them. We have to go out and.
Well, Mike, I want to wish you the very best of luck, and we're run out of time, and I wanted to get maybe a little deeper into the Eagle program, but hopefully we'll have you back in a successful season toward the end.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Matthias Wicks. He is a campus police for the Tulsa Public Schools.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Deputy Chief of Campus Police for the Tulsa Public Schools, but more importantly, a summer program involving track. And Matthias, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now tell us about this summer track program. I don't think many people know it.
Sure. So the name of the program is 3D Elite Student Athletes, 3D, and that stands for determination, dedication, and desire. And student athletes, because we want them to be successful in school. So what we do, incorporate our mentorship throughout the spring and summer experiences, and we teach those tenets. And we challenge them to use it not just on the track, but use it in class when they go back in the fall.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is this boys and girls, and what ages?
Absolutely, yes. I have boys and girls. Every year we end up with between 55 to 75 kids per year. We start as young as 5 and go all the way through 18. Most of the competition, though, starts at 8, so our babies, the 5, 6-year-olds, we put on mini meets or have small meets with them, practice for them, and we really want to work on developmental and fun for them. So.
Well, now, how would a person get their child involved in this?
Absolutely. Anybody wants to look at our program, they can go on the website. It's www.3dlife.com, and that's 3dlyf.com for live to your fullest. And
I know that just in visiting with you, you really enjoy it, don't you?
I love it. I love it. I love seeing the athletes when they work hard and they see they've accomplished something. The parents, I have a great set of parents, great set of coaches. So I like to see the unit. 3D is like a family, so we have a lot of 3D pride, 3D family concept. So I get excited about it every spring and summer.
Now, how long have you been involved in this?
This program I started in 2000. Well, launched it in 2000, but it's been in the making since '99. So 16, going on our 16th season now.
Well, now, do you follow some of the youngsters, boys and girls that have come through the program and get on up into high school and maybe go into college? What are some of the positive aspects of this?
Oh, I love that question. I like answering that. So we do watch our kids grow and develop throughout the years, the seasons they spend with us. We have kids that go off to college and compete at the college level. We have kids in college now. Some kids actually come back, our alumni, 3D alumni. They'll come back and help coach as well. So it's great to have them back and mentoring the young kids, and I want the young kids to see these kids here. So.
Well, that just sounds to me like a lot of fun, and you can just tell by visiting with you that your heart is in it.
That is my passion. 3D is my passion. It's mentorship. So.
Okay, now, how many days a week do you work? How do you do the practice part?
Sure. So we practice 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. In the past, we practiced at East Central High School. We now practice at Memorial. And pretty much so the facility that's open for us throughout the season, we'll practice there. 3 days a week in the evenings. We know it's going to be pretty hot in the summer, so we'll start at 6:30. As summer gets deeper in a way, we'll hopefully go 6:45 or 7, hoping that the sun goes down a little. And then we compete on the weekends.
Well, what's going through my mind here as well, is there something, a particular phase of track, a sprint, or something that kind of stands out and it is more or less attached to your program?
Well, we're sprints, distance, and field events. I was a former collegiate hurdler, so I love the hurdles, but I love all events in track and field. I think they all teach great discipline, from hurdles to sprints to distance, long jump, pole vault, shot put, discus. relays, all those events, I believe, teaches character. So if I am partial to anything, it'd be hurdles because I ran it, but my love is for all of it, all the events. I appreciate everything all the athletes do. And like I said, there's a lot of great disciplines and character that comes from each of those events. So.
Well, now from our viewing audience standpoint, they can come from anywhere? They don't have to be a particular school?
Absolutely not. We have kids and families that travel from around different parts of the state to come in and join us, and they look at the facilities. They appreciate the Tulsa Public Schools facilities. We participate. We put on track meets in the summer, so we have people come from outside of the state to come see us, to compete as well. So, and our competitions are for Junior Olympics and Masters events. Master age athletes will have somebody from 35 on the way to 78 competing in some of our events as well. So. Well,
Matthias, how many people help you? Do you do all this by yourself?
No, I have some incredible coaches and volunteers. I have every year I have between 8 to 12 coaches that are also either teachers or coaches themselves, and parents. Parents play a major role. I have incredible parents who keep things in order, keep the kids motivated. They assist the coaches and help keep the practice organized, because with 65 or so kids at one practice, we have to keep it running like a machine. So parents, coaches, and volunteers, they help us keep it going. So there's no way I can do this by myself, so hats off to them.
Well, and I think here we're about to run out of time, but I think again that we need to mention that in doing this, your full-time job is the Deputy Chief Campus Police.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is, and I enjoy that as well.
And that carries over into the track, and that makes it great. And I know that our viewing audience will be dropping by Memorial and maybe watching some of those workouts that you have.
They should.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
But Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Yes, yes. And some of them can join us too. We have adult relays as well throughout the season, so they can come and be a part of that.
Well, I promise you, I'm going to come by, Matthias, and we appreciate you being aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Clifford Criddle. He's the athletic director at Webster High School and is retiring. So we'll visit with Clifford Criddle right after this.
Movies are one thing, but in the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake, and you'll be seen as a hero by your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov today.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Director of Athletics for Webster High School, Clifford Criddle. And Clifford, 39 years in the Tulsa Public Schools, and you're retiring at the end of this year. That is remarkable.
Yes, it is. It's been enjoyable 39 years. I spent 29 of those years at Will Rogers High School and the last 10 here. But once I look back over my career, it seems like where did it all go? But I can say honestly that I've enjoyed it all 39 years.
Well, now you were the head basketball coach at Will Rogers High School. Kind of talk about your 29 years there.
Well, first of all, let's start back. I was the head tennis coach at Rogers High School. Also, I was the head girls basketball coach at Rogers High School. The first time they went to a state tournament, it was under my tutelage. I was head boys basketball coach who won a state championship in 1988. First time they had won in about 30 years. Also, I helped with soccer. I helped with track. I even helped with wrestling. But and then also I was the head football coach there at Rogers High School. So I think, man, I really put a stamp on Will Rogers High School with everything that I contributed to it. But I think the one thing that I contributed to Will Rogers High School was a dedication. And we don't see that often, is the dedication, commitment to excellence. And I hope I left that foundation there at Will Rogers High School.
Well, when we talk about you doing it 39 years, your lovely bride, Juanita Ford, 36 years that she was a coach at Edison High School. And you and Juanita go back a long ways.
Yes, we do. And, you know, I really say that my wife, having that kind of tenure at one high school and success she had at that high school, 36 years, is remarkable. For her to be there that long and to be able to keep a program going that long, and in so many words, she almost started that program at Edison High School. And I tell her all the time, I wish that I had her demeanor. If I had her demeanor, I'd probably still be coaching.
Well, and I think in your family, we've got to mention Alex, because he is headed to Purdue to play football, and I'm sure that you and Johnita are going to be making some trips to Purdue University to watch that young man play.
Well, one of the reasons we probably are retiring because our son Alex, who has been a joy in our life, the last 18 years has been the most enjoyable. Seeing him go different milestones, go from the Indian Nation to middle school to high school, becoming an all-stater, receiving a scholarship to a Big Ten school, and also the most impressive thing about all this, he is very academically solid. You know, Purdue is the academic school, and for him to receive an offer from Harvard was an amazing feat for him too. Right now, he currently holds a 3.9 GPA. He's in the National Honor Society, and if you knew my son, you'll never know that he was like that. He is so laid back on everything. We're real thankful to have a son like that, and I'm thankful just to have a family, which includes, you know, Sandra Ford, who one of the buildings here at Webster is named after. She's my sister-in-law. Thankful to have her in our life. Thankful that my wife and I, we've been married for 22 years, going on 23, and it's been good. It's been good. God has been good.
Well, when you take a look at what has happened here the last 10 years at Webster High School, a lot of building has been built, the new basketball facility. Kind of talk about your highlight here at Webster as you this year will leave it.
The one thing that I must say that I feel like I put a stamp on is bring back respect for athletics, making people more committed to athletics, understanding the value of athletics to a school. And especially now with the way the schools are, they think about cutting athletics. I want them to understand that athletics is vital to a school. Since we've been here, our football team has improved. They're winning the last couple of years. They've been one game away from going to the state. Our boys basketball team has improved, went to a state championship, been ranked in the top 10 the last couple of years. Our baseball team's doing better. Wrestling team, we had a couple of kids go to state. Also, you know, we had a new building, which is named after my sister-in-law, the Sandra Ford Athletic Facility. That was here. We remodeled the stadium. We have had some great improvements here since we've been here, but I'm not looking at the structures. What I'm looking at is the sustainability of the program, and I think we've been able to put that in place to sustain the program here at Webster.
Well, Clifford, we could talk for a long time, and I know that you have so many great stories that has gone through in 39 years, but always a pleasure being around you. You do a great job, and we're going to miss you.
Appreciate that, JB.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, Jen Sanders comes aboard, the athletic director at Rogers High School.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I just feel like that's my destiny. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we bring aboard the Director of Athletics for Will Rogers High School in Tulsa, Jen Sanders. And Jen, it's a pleasure having you aboard.
It's very nice to be here, JB.
And as Director of Athletics for Will Rogers High School in Tulsa, I can't think of a school that has had as many names and as much recognition as Rogers High School.
Rogers High School has some rich tradition of athletes that have gone on to play pro sports, the collegiate sports. Went on to be college athletes and college coaches. So we have a rich tradition of athletics at Will Rogers High School.
How has the community responded to Rogers regrouping again, and because suddenly they are, to me, becoming the Will Rogers of old? How is the community and the support in that area, how are they taking this?
The community really has rallied around us. You know, that Kendall Whittier area has been really up and coming in the last probably 5 years. And I think part of that's due to Will Rogers reforming into a early college high. And many of the community members, you know, they're getting ready to have a big basketball tournament for the Kendall Whittier area. So the community partners in that area have really rallied behind the school, and they support us to the full extent.
Well, when you take a look, does it mean as much, do you think, now as it did in years past, or is it coming back to that level?
You know, I think it means more now. I think that now that they restructured Rogers, I mean, it became a baby that everyone wanted to succeed. And now we're getting to that level athletically and academically. So I think it's really, really important for us to be successful, not only on the athletic playing field, but also academically. You know, and we're really proud of our kids because they, you know, by the time they're juniors and seniors, they're taking TCC courses. So they get the feel of what it's like to be in college, and in hopes that, you know, they kind of get the feel of what it's like to be in college athletics too.
Well, Jen, kind of name a couple or maybe a three of the past athletes that have gone on and distinguished themselves, maybe in the professional level, maybe in the business world, but I'm sure that some can pop to your mind.
We could probably sit here all day, but just coming to my mind, one of our foundation members, Dave Rader, you know, he coached at TU. He's a former Will Rogers alumni. He coached at Alabama. I mean, great guy. He comes back and visits our kids periodically and really motivates them to understand that, you know, just you're from Will Rogers and we expect great things from you. So he's one of them. Lee Mayberry's another. He's you know, went on to play in the NBA and was a coach at Arkansas for a bit. And then, of course, Gordon Morgan. I mean, he's famous. He's a great guy, great baseball. We are hoping to name our field after him in the future. So, you know, we could sit here all day and name athletes that have gone on to do great things. But the great thing is these guys and gals have come back to our school and really invested time and effort into our athletes now, so that they understand that, you know, being from Will Rogers really means something.
You know, when you mention those names, suddenly there's just so many things that will go through a person's mind. And I'm sure that our viewers who knew Gordon Morgan and all of them that you mentioned, that they are thinking about the things that they did when they were there and regrouping the Rogers Ropers. Now, you mentioned something I think we need to bring out. Back in that period that we're talking about, we didn't have girls athletics, but now we have girls athletics. And did I see where you have a girl all-stater in basketball?
We do. Eve Lewis. She is going to be on the Oklahoma Girls Basketball All-State Association East team. She's a great kid. She also won the Green Country Conference Player of the Year, as did Carlin Adkism win the Coach of the Year. This is their second year in a row to win with both of those titles, and I'm not sure that that's happened very often. So, you know, I feel like our girls athletics at Rogers is really growing. Our volleyball team is up to, they have a varsity team, a JV team, and a freshman team. You know, softball, we're working on tryouts this week. We had about 12 to 15 girls come out last week. So, you know, it's really growing, and our track team obviously is doing well. So we're proud of that, you know, and you know, it's hard for me to think back to the time that there were no girls athletics, but I know there are plenty of people that remember those times.
Well, when you think about all of the things that have gone on at Will Rogers High School, I can come back with stories that go way, way back. But I see this coming again. Great facilities that you have, and you're going to have a football stadium.
That's right. You know, we are so excited about that. You know, our foundation members, we had the display board set up for our Hall of Fame ceremony that was last Friday. You know, and everyone is so excited about having that field at Will Rogers. You know, it'll be the first time that it's been there, you know, and so many of our our coaches are just excited to, you know, have that facility there and to be able to showcase games, soccer and football, all there at Will Rogers. Our gymnasium is definitely still one of the best in the district. They're in the process right now of resanding down the floor and repainting that. So it's going to be exciting, all of the renovations and the things that they're doing at Will Rogers.
And you know, I can't help but I can't wait to watch and look at the football stadium, because I can see where it's built in the kind of the low area there. It's just going to be beautiful, isn't it?
I can't wait. I think there's going to be a great view of downtown right in the background as you're setting up in the stands. And you know, what better for Tulsa than to be able to see downtown while you're watching a football game.
Jen, we could talk about this for a long time, and I know you're doing a tremendous job. We appreciate you coming aboard.
Thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, comes aboard and will bring us up to date in what's happening athletic-wise.
When I became a football trainer, I feel like I've become more outspoken because I'm able to help others. I'm able to help the players when they get injured, get the ice, and build customer service experience with dealing with parents and eligibility issues and stuff like that.
Some kids like myself go to school for the athletics or for the fine arts because that's the career we want to go in.
If athletics go away, I would feel lost because with me doing sports medicine, that's my drive to go to school. I love going to 7th hour football, helping the players, helping the coaches. And without that, it would just be, I would be lost, like, what do I do now?
This new dad is picturing a tree house in the sky, but he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Oh! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we bring aboard the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, always a pleasure, especially when we have an opportunity to go back and reflect on the Hall of Fame inductees.
Well, one of the things we want to do with these segments that we've been including the last 2 weeks is to hear what those people who have gone before us think about Tulsa Public Schools and the importance of their athletic career when they went to high school and then went on and matriculated at the college level. And in the case of the ones we have today, they went on to the highest level in the National Football League. So we're really tickled to have. And I think the first one we're going to talk about is Tony Casillas. And, you know, what a great example. An East Central Cardinal that went all the way to the Super Bowl, and what a great individual he was.
2 Super Bowls with Dallas, and coming out of East Central High School, can't get any better than that, can it?
No, and I tell you, of course, he was an All-American at the University of Oklahoma.
Yes.
After his days at East Central, and to hear him talk about his time at East Central during the course of the banquet 4 years ago, because he was in our very first class, it just makes you feel good about the things that happened in Tulsa and the things that are going to happen in the Tulsa Public Schools athletics.
Well, I think it's so great that Tony Casillas, he was inducted into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame back in 2008, and then when you kicked off the Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame, he makes the very first class, which he deserved to be.
There was no question, JB, as you know, sitting on the committee, when we looked at that first group, my gosh, we had so many that were deserving, and how do you peel it down to that number? And you know, I thought, you know, we did 15, and I think we could have done 30 in the first one, but we wanted to make it special as we could, and still yet reach that entire group. And of course, with Tony going in, of course, having been a Dallas Cowboy fan for a long time, I was really happy to have him come into the fold.
Well, I thought it was so great that he won the Lombardi Award for the top lineman twice.
Isn't that something?
Now that, coming out of East Central High School, unbelievable.
That just doesn't happen literally at the collegiate level anymore.
No.
You know, so you can imagine how dominant he was during his career at Oklahoma.
And, you know, he was a first-round draft choice by the Atlanta Falcons before he ended up in Dallas, but to play 12 years in the National Football League, that is, you've got to be a tremendous athlete.
Well, when you're playing in the line, too, because, you know, the punishment that goes on up front, to be able, you know, they say the average offensive lineman is 6 to 7 years, and defense is about the same unless you play on the outside where you can run a little bit. But he was a tackle. He played down, in, you know, in a 4-point stance, and yet and is in great shape today. I think you'll see when you see the video. I mean, he can line up and play today if he needed to. So he's a great example of what our school system has turned out, and the success he's been after his playing career.
Well, of all of the great awards that he has been honored with, I think this always goes back to 2013 when he came in the very first class. This Hall of Fame meant as much to him as any one of them.
There was no question. You know, when I called him down in Dallas that day, and that's one of the great things I have in my job is to be able to call these people and tell them. There was dead silence on the end of the phone, and he said, well, I just can't believe that, Coach Cloud. I said, well, you know, this is our first ever, and you're going to be a part of it.
Well, let's roll in the film with Tony Casillas responding to being inducted into the Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame.
You know, I'm so humbled and honored to be able to be a part of the inaugural induction into the TPS High School Hall of Fame. You know, when I look back on my career, there's so many things that I was able to accomplish, but it started here in Tulsa. I'm from here, and so I really believe in the proponent of Tulsa Public Schools and what it represents. You look at the players that went through here and what it represents. I mean, I'm proud. It's a proud honor that I'm glad to be I'm very humbled to have. And so I think that it's obviously the first one, inaugural one, but I think it represents a lot of great athletes that left their mark in Tulsa Public Schools that we can all be proud of. We got some pretty special people that come out of Tulsa. We got some pretty special, not only athletes, but educators, people that's done some pretty outstanding things. And to be a small part of that, I'm very humbled.
So I work in production, and I help cover a lot of college football games. There's a ton of running and lots of travel all over the place. You might think I'd go with a mega bank for the convenience, but actually I just switched to TTCU. I could have signed up online, but I decided just to walk in, and I'm so glad I did. Just for opening a checking account, they gave me $50 and $50 to a local school. And now when I travel, it's like a little piece of home is always with me. It really is unbeatable.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, our special guest as we talk about inductees into the Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame. And what a great story that when we were talking about Tony Casillas. But that brings us up to another 2013 inductee, Reuben Gant.
Reuben Gant, what a tremendous talent he was at Booker T, and then on to Oklahoma State, and then with the Buffalo Bills, you know, and to think that it all started in North Tulsa, and he matriculated at the highest level again and became an All-Pro, and what a tremendous gentleman and what a leader on the North Side he's been.
Well, you know, I can remember both of those players in high school. And in Reuben Gant, the thing that really stands out from Booker T. Washington High School, he was a track star, he was a basketball star, he was a football star. He was an athlete.
3-sport letter winners, you know, in large schools today are not very commonplace. You just can't because of the off-season things, but when you're a great athlete like Reuben was, and I can tell you, I saw more of Reuben than I wanted to see because I was at a rival school as the director of athletics at that time, and we had to play Booker T about every year in the playoffs, and I saw all that of Reuben Gant that I think I ever wanted. He was what a talent and what a great gentleman.
And you know, when he was at Booker T. Washington High School, as I recall, they won 3 state football championships with him there.
Yes, absolutely. Isn't that amazing? That's just absolutely amazing.
To win 3 in a row. Now, we know that Jinx has done a lot, but during this period of time, that was incredible for Booker T. Washington under the efforts of guys like Reuben Gant that they were able to win 3 in a row.
Absolutely. I mean, what a great testament, you know, to that program. And the number of student athletes they've turned out that have become successful after their time at Booker T and in college and then on to the pros or in the business world. But, you know, Reuben, his involvement with the North Tulsa groups and revitalizing the Greenwood area downtown, you know, was really one of the first steps of the revitalization of downtown Tulsa. And it has just continued to grow since that time.
And, you know, he spent 9 years with Buffalo. He was a first-round draft choice by Buffalo, spent his entire career with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and that's unheard of today,
yes,
too.
Yes, it is.
With free agency and the open market the way it is in the national and professional athletics, actually. To be able to be with one team that long was just incredible. But it spoke to his character and his ability to make the team every year. You know, I had a friend of mine by the name of Charlie Harper. And Charlie Harper was an All-American from Oklahoma State. His kids went to a school where I was and everything. And he told me that when he played for the New York Giants, that Allie Sherman was the head coach. And every year, Allie Sherman would tell him, you know, Harper, I got a guy that's going to take your place. And he said, well, bring him on, you know, because I don't have anywhere to go, but it's a broken arrow. But Reuben, I think, epitomizes that stick-to-itiveness and what he could do and what he has done in our community since he's retired from professional football.
Well, the fact that he stayed his entire career in Buffalo, we don't hear about that much anymore because it seems like that players are economically or for whatever reason they want to move on. But to stay for 9 years with Buffalo, but what a tremendous high school athlete he was. And let's go now and pick up his response as he was inducted into the Tulsa Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame.
Certainly this is an honor. I'm humbled by being chosen. You know, I was prepared to go to college because of the regimen that I went through in high school. It was, you know, accepting accountability and responsibility and performing on the field and taking care of your work in the classroom and making that first and foremost. And if we didn't perform in the classroom, we couldn't walk out on the field. And so the coaches that we had at the time made sure that we were good athletes as well as good students. I feel blessed to be here, and I can't be any more honored and proud to be part of this class of inductees. And I want to thank everyone for that. Thank you very much. Good job, Reuben.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
First day, hashtag first day of school. I am Success TPS.
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 Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our special guest, Gail Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools. And Gail, each week it seems like that there is something going on with the OSSAA. You are involved, and I know that our viewers want to know what is going on as far as the OSSAA is concerned.
JB, there's so many things. The legislature's involved in writing laws that affect high school athletics, which I think is asinine. They need to be worrying about funding public education and not worrying about athletics and activities. But there are 3 or 4 bills that are pending right now that I won't get into today because it's not relevant to our meeting last week. But, you know, for About 6 months now, some athletic directors from the 5 and 6A institutions in the state of Oklahoma have been meeting and to try to do a reorganization of the OSSAA and to form a union with the OSSAA that better fits 5 and 6A level of schools. And by level, I mean we're talking about ADM. We're not talking about academic, education, financial, anything like that. We're talking about your ADM that makes you fall into 5 and 6A, which makes you different than smaller schools. And our argument all along has been that the 600-page manual that we have was written from Class B to Class 6A, from 12 enrollment to 4,000 and 5,000 enrollment. It cannot work for all of those. There are different circumstances that happen in big schools that don't happen in small schools, and there are circumstances that happen in small schools that will never happen in large schools. And to have one set of rules and guidelines for that variance in size is really not logical. So we started this meeting, and our first meeting was in Stillwater. And we've met in Del City, and last week we met in Tulsa. And in each case, the executive director of the Activity Association, Ed Shakely, and his associate director, David Jackson, have attended because we wanted input from them. If we want to affect changes, what are the best ways for us to seek those changes that will be the most expedient in getting changes done, because we need those changes now. And so this past week, what we did was we worked on what we felt like were the key issues. The key issues are governance. Number one, how are we governed? The way the Constitution bylaws are written now in the OSSA, we're governed by a board of directors that's elected from the membership. The problem with that is that there's over 65% of the student athletes in 5 and 6A in the state of Oklahoma. But out of a 15-member board, we only have 6 representatives on the board. We have the majority of the student athletes that are in 5 and 6A in the state, and the minority on the board when it comes to voting on different issues. Another area of governance was having people vote on things that they didn't have. In other words, why would a non-football playing school vote on football reimbursement? We don't think that's fair. We think only schools that participate in those programs should have votes when it comes to a vote of the membership. So we're looking at reimbursement as an issue, playoff reimbursement. I have a personal philosophy that I don't think it should cost our teams. They shouldn't make any money, but it shouldn't cost our teams to go to the playoffs. It's a benefit, it's a reward, and it shouldn't be a punishment for the coach and the athletic director to have to go find money to go to the 3 rounds in the playoffs that cost money. And so that we're going to make some recommendations on reimbursement.
Well, you know, when you look at it, and what goes through my mind, when all of this started and it worked, but we didn't have as many sports. We didn't have all of the different, the boys and the girls phase of it. I mean, and we've done nothing to adapt to that. Am I right?
That's correct. We really literally doubled our sport offerings when we added girls athletics, you know, when Title IX came in 6 years ago. And that was an issue that I don't think we addressed correctly, because the smaller schools at that time had the girls athletics, so limited. They played softball and basketball and maybe track. But now when the larger schools got involved, you really doubled the number of student athletes, the number of coaches you need, which means the budget doubled. And it costs more to provide those programs. I think that's the issue that we're concerned about with as we go through these budget phases now that we're going through, and yet we go to the playoffs. Here's a for instance. There was a small school this past year that went all the way to the state championship. Their reimbursement was $11,000. Jenks went through 3 rounds and won another state championship in football, and their reimbursement was $600. Now, $600 didn't pay for one of the charter buses for their football team to go to the game. And yet they took 2 of those, and then of course they had the band, which was 4 more buses, and the spirit groups, which were 2 more buses. I'm not saying we should pay for all that, but we dadgum should pay for the team to get there out of the OSSA revenue. And so we have some issues that I think that are going to be really more acute now when you talk about finances, because those are really problems for us in the long run.
Well, again, we've run out of time. Can we pick this up
Absolutely.
next week?
We sure can.
We always appreciate it, Gil.
You bet.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Thanks for being with us today on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Hope you enjoyed the show and hope you enjoyed the coaches. And we'll be back again with you next week as we continue to follow the athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools.
Pi Day, right? So math team loves to celebrate Pi Day, and there's a lot of ways that math team can do that. This is the 3rd annual Pi Day at Hale Junior High, and what they do is sell tickets. So you have all these buckets or jars out in the morning, and kids can buy a ticket for $1 and put it in a teacher's jar or the principal's jar or the dean's jar, and they get a chance to throw a pie at that person. All the money is used to buy supplies for a big end-of-school math project.
It's worked great because around Pi Day, we talk about the area of a circle, circumference of a circle, diameter and radius, all pertaining back to the classroom is what it does.
This has been a big, huge deal, and the students stand out here in the morning and sell tickets. They talk about the teacher they're going to get. They talk about how they're going to, throw this by them. It's going to go. Yeah, it's been a big, huge deal.
It actually feels good, especially when it's one of your students. For me, I bought the ticket so my students improved their grade, and so I got to pick the students, and to have the students throw for improving in my class, it feels good. So
here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing. I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.